need y'all to be a little crunk tonight to what we got. Because no matter what, that's what documentaries are for, to show that real shit.
Production 13 Films followed a group of poets from September 2003 to March 2004 as they performed at various poetry scenes from Charlotte to Greensboro, North Carolina. We now know that this is clearly their passion that turns mere words into lyrics and lyrics into powerful messages. Urban poets call it spit, blazing, or flames. In this documentary film, you'll hear them talk about you, me, they, them, and us. Stories that talk about their experiences, your experiences, some good, some bad. But you know, that is life. Poetry is art. It is the art of someone's feelings, aspirations, and sorrows crafted through life's experiences, put to paper, then delivered powerfully and passionately. So the next time you hear about an open mic or a poetry reading, open your mind, do yourself a favor, and go.
It's dawned on me why I don't dwell in bougie restaurants and nightclubs. $10 entry fees and 2 drink minimums attempt to pimp poets' performances, parading their pussy practicing promotions ploy while penetrating the next punk they pressure while drowning in a martini Monday's marketing plan. Espresso, latte, frozen margarita, strawberry daiquiri machine. Wore out my cleats and combat boots. March 7 miles for your child's bus system while you're stuck between the stringent minutes of your day planner. The time you missed was the visiting hours to your homeboy that refused to snitch on your child porn internet hustle. Forgotten is how many weeks left in your mistress trimester. Forgotten is the drunken state trooper that killed 2 black men on 95. Forgotten is how they parade Michael Jackson and high Rush Limbaugh. So fuck your anti-revolutionary Bugetto complacency. Let's put down the 6-wig of vodka and stop making cataracts and cancer you don't have as excuses for smoking weed and read everything from the 9 insights of the Celestine prophecy to chapbooks written on company time, copies stolen from Kinko's, flooding with underground poetry. And though I loathe reading in venues where poets' egos are bigger than the areas they've read in, I am sure there is one untainted, excited to be here, reading their first poem virgin, or the one I too remember the struggle man in his 50s, divorced twice because he still represents the 60s, or the one couple in their early 20s married for love, not pregnancy, or the one 13-year-old girl that lied about her age to get in because she heard there was an open mic and just wants someone to listen to her drug problem and sex addiction, straining to hear over the blender, can hear me screaming for them too.
When I first started, I actually wasn't really reading here too much, but I heard of a place called the Moon Room, and everybody said it was so great, so nice, you know, and then another spot, Cafe, where I actually started reading at back in 99, 2000, and they were really, it was just like a bunch of friends getting together and we were just sharing things with each other, and then it got bigger.
I wrote my first poem when I was 7. there was a writing contest in the 2nd grade, and we were gonna win a scholarship to something or another. It wasn't a big scholarship. It was like maybe $200-300, but it was for school. So I guess that was my first slam. And I didn't win because I wrote about the rainbow and then I added black, but I thought black was a color, so I added black and said it was like the jacket on the bumblebees or something. And then some other little girl in the class won. They said that my description of black was too dark, and I didn't view it that way at all. So I was, already scoring at 7 about the color black. I was like, oh, all right.
I got started in 11th grade in high school, around 96. That was when my high school English teacher introduced me, and I was like a math and science person. I never really liked English or anything until I met her, and she introduced me to Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin and all these wonderful writers. And so I started reading a lot of Nikki and then trying to write like Nikki. And then when I got to college, I got introduced to Saul Williams, and I started trying to write like Saul Williams, but all this time I still wasn't reading in front of anybody. I didn't start reading until my senior year, around 2001, when I just found out about this reading at Tonic in Charlotte and drove up and went back faithfully like every 2 weeks for it. So I've only been reading seriously for about 3 years now.
I've been writing pretty much since high school. Actually since middle school. I remember writing my first poem when I was in the 7th grade, and it was because of a friend that I had, one of my best friends. She also wrote poetry, and we used to write little love poems and, little roses are red type things. I think because we were introduced to it in school and found an interest in it. So it goes back, I guess you could say, to middle school, high school times, but I didn't get into writing serious, poetry until probably around 97 or 98.
North Carolina is one of the few areas left to have, it seems to me as an outsider looking in, that has been untainted by the I'm better than you poet versus poet egomania thing that's going on. Now I don't know, like if I was inside or here every day, that may be different. However, on the outside looking in, which is an awesome thing. So if I'm an outsider not seeing this, I think it's wonderful, because it's almost, as a poet, we have our eyes sharpened for this. We're like, okay, is there drama, is there stress in the poetry scene in North Carolina? And I've never really seen that here. So I think it's awesome that the poets travel from Charlotte all the way up to the Triangle area and back and forth through the poetry circuit, because I know all the way up through the Triangle in Durham and Raleigh and Cary, and then in the middle in the Greensboro, and then down here in Charlotte, I always hear the North Carolina poets talking about, I'm going to Greensboro, I'm going to Raleigh, I'm going to Charlotte, on different days of the week. So I think that's awesome that they cross paths all the time.
Poetry here in Charlotte, more or less, I see it's grown to a whole nother level now, because now the poets are actually coming together. Before, everybody was just separate, so-called trying to make it or striving to be known in Charlotte. But I think what made it different is that, now the poets were forming to where we're known as a unit. When people see one of us, they know they probably can look close by and see another one. Blues is so phenomenal and so versatile, and with his rap skills, he's able to bring poetry to you like in so many different angles. He'll sing a hook, and his hooks, what he sings is natural. It's not something that he's trying to do. He's not trying to throw a hook in there. He's just giving you blues.
Blues is one of my favorite poets. Blues he's just everywhere. I mean, Blues writes about everything. He writes in characters. Not only can he write characters, but he speaks them. I mean, Blues is his poetry, His poetry is him. No matter what poem Blues is doing, I mean, you feel it, because he gets so into it that he gets you into it. And even if you read his poetry instead of hearing him do it, you still get into it, because he just has a way with words that, I mean, it's just sick in a way.
This will not be the love poem you have longed for. These will not be Shakespearean prose or the pledging of my love to the glory of your soul. This will not be that poem. This will not be the poem that speaks to your heart so that it beats in rhythm with mine. No, this will not be that poem. These will not be words conveying my sensitivity and my ability to feel your heart with intuition, you vying for my attention to your emotional stability, or words that serve simply as idle, mundane conversation spoken by soulmates who have loved each other even before God created the emotion of love. This will not be that poem. It is not the poem of some New Jack superficial Love Jones cat who will lay you on your back and scratch sexual tracks down your vertebrae while you say things that are not in my nature, and your clitoris sings as his tongue begins to taste you while you arch your back to tune into the frequency he is sending through your trembling thighs, while your weakened knees are bending over his broad metaphoric shoulders, while he holds your hips and pulls you in closer and deeper into his wet mouth to the point where you never want him to come out until he is finished saying what he is saying to your body. Oh no, this will not be that Love Jones poem you can go home and masturbate to. You see, my love is going beyond travels and dedication. It surpasses infinity and eternity by 1 billion light years, and you see, that's just when it's getting started. You see, my love is unconditional, beyond what was unconditional for Jesus and Mary. It is beyond what you can conceive or believe. I've even heard the most committed stalker saying, "That motherfucker is crazy." You see, my words are what Malcolm and Martin never said. Tears that Coretta and Betty should have never shed. My poem will not be about long walks and quiet talks, intellectual talks in quiet parks with fingers skimming between toes and hands pushing the curve of your arch until pain and pleasure coexist harmoniously in a world of near orgasm and relaxation where your lover anticipates your every secret sensation. This will not be that poem. It is not the poem about the honor and valor of black women, or how I cry when I see you smile and hold my children, or how when I think about all the sacrifice given, or how when I fuck up, that my actions are not forgotten, but through time and wisdom they are forgiven. You see, what I have to say, human voices can never convey or profess. No silly poem could ever truly attest. There are no words, just God sing me to the core of my meaning. Because this is so much deeper than commitment and feeling. This is I love you, truthfully speaking.
My poetry delved out of being, having my heart broke, you know. And a lot of what I wrote has never been read, you know. I don't read it because that was just a time in my life where I was hurt. I was really, really hurt. As a man, my pride was broken, so I just put it out on paper. That's the way I knew how to vent. And I really didn't know I knew how to write until someone read it and said, this is really deep stuff. So they say a train is coming, and it's coming to take me to see my mama. It's coming to take me to see my children. Now, they say it comes from the deepest quiet of dark when the earth don't move and the wind don't blow. They say it moves as fast as the imagination of Jesus, and you don't need no money to get on board, just gotta have a desire to get free. Gotta want them shackles off your feet, gotta want your lungs to breathe sweet freedom. And when that train come, you must follow the path and run past the slave quarters and through cotton fields. You better run past the big house and that hanging tree that strange fruit that never grew. You better run through the stream that the witch doctor dream in a hard rain of flashes of lightning. You better run over the hill now, then stop. Child, be still. Don't make a sound, because I can hear those bloodhounds bark and howl. Slavery! You better run past your grandfather's grave plot through fields of marigold and lilac as the cold air kisses the whelps on your back. You better run past the Civil War, run past men with calloused hands, run past women with slave brands. Despite their own need, they still raised our children. You better run from the back of the bus. You better run through Harlem during a renaissance. You better run and fly with airmen from Tuskegee. You better run from that fatal shot in Memphis, Tennessee. You better run from a bombed out church. You better run to the funeral of a martyr. You better run to where 4 black fathers lost 4 black daughters. You better run into the turning of the century. And I will not stop running until my daughter makes presidential history. You better run through the riots and Watts, through ghettos and vacant lots to Wall Street stocks. You better run the $1 million contracts. You better run the gospel hymns and gangster raps. You better run into the dawning of the sun. You gotta run till they don't know which way we coming from. We have to run to the Supreme Court so justice will finally give some peace to our forefathers. You gotta run to first base as a Brooklyn Dodger. You gotta run to the moon for Rob McNair. His spirit will gladly meet you there.
We have to run from the genocide of blacks on blacks, run from the death of AIDS and crack. We gotta run to get these black families back. We gotta run to get these black families back. We have to run from the pain of the nightstick. It reminds me of the pain of the overseer's whip. We have to run to this cloud of ignorance. Listen now, children recognize their spiritual gifts. We have to run till they realize that the revolution will not be televised. We have to run from the mountaintop to the valley low. Said we gotta run till we ain't gotta run no more. We gotta run till there ain't no more air to breathe. Run till God say it's time to leave. Gotta run until you believe. Said you gotta run until you believe. Gotta run till we ain't gotta run no more. Got the keys to y'all shackles. Y'all ready to go?
BG's poetry is heartfelt. The girl got a book this thick, so you know she done been through it. Okay, she done been through it. Somehow, some way, this girl done came out, and she's still alive and still out here striving to do what she does. And why I love BG so much, rating her like that, is when I met her, I could tell she was in I ain't really messing with poetry, type era, and we got together for a hot second. Then she vanished for a little while. And when she came back on the scene, it was just like, she just had that look like, I'm ready now, I'm ready, let's do this.
BG don't care what nobody think, how nobody feel about whatever it is that she is about to say, because she just gonna do that. And so again, that's real to me. And despite any hearsay, they said, he said, she said, whatever, if you watch her and watch her body language and watch the way that she deals with people, that's not her style. It's like she listening to you and she whatever, but at the same time she is totally zoning.
BG, classy, low-key classy, finesse, just a pretty lady with pretty words, but she can just give it to you so nasty sometimes you don't even see it coming.
Coming up to the mic, give a warm round of applause for my girl coming back to the stage. Give it up for BG.
I'm doing something different. I'm going by memory tonight. I think. So if I stop for a long time, it means you're supposed to think about what I'm saying, and not that I forgot. The first piece that I'm going to do is basically for all the ladies, and it's because of just shit that you've been through because of a man, and it's called Niggas in This Shit. I've written many poems because of niggas and their shit. I've been to the moon and back because of niggas and their shit. So much, in fact, that the moon is familiar with me. I'm on a first name basis with niggas and their shit. We've known each other for years and go way back. Niggas and their shit. I've been cool with, fucked with, loved with, committed with, and even married with niggas and their shit. What? I've allowed niggas and their shit to encompass my soul. I've swallowed what they fed me and gave up control. I lost faith and confidence and forgot who I was because of niggas and their shit. I've had sleepless nights and heart attack stress because of niggas and their shit. And when I took that 911 ride and the mask was placed upon my face, it was by a nigga who was full of shit, telling me I was gonna be okay and that as a woman, what I was going through was normal. I guess women often ride in ambulances because of niggas and their shit. Women are supposed to cry, be heartbroken, and want to die behind niggas and their shit. We're supposed to give all and receive nothing from worthless niggas and their shit. We're supposed to be both woman and man, mom and dad, because of some weak ass nigga and his shit. We're supposed to be strong and move on and not be affected by niggas and their shit. Did you know that women are in jail because of niggas and their shit? If only we could get rid of these niggas and their shit. I flushed 1,000 times, yet I'm still seeing shit. I'm burning incense and spraying Lysol, yet I still smell niggas and their damn shit. I changed my life and me because of niggas and their shit. Because they filled my tub with love so I can bask in it, and once I was naked and exposed, they went from love to niggas and their shit. I financially supported niggas broke as shit. Gave explanations to niggas that just couldn't understand shit. Gave my heart to niggas that took advantage and played with it and didn't give a fuck to the fact that it was destroyed by niggas and their shit. I gave many years to niggas that didn't appreciate it. Gave up my ass every time they fucking asked for it. Hugged and caressed niggas that said they were lonely as shit. All for some niggas and their shit. I started drinking and smoking. I started drinking and smoking because of niggas and their shit. I killed an extension of me because that nigga wasn't ready for it, and then had thoughts of ending my own life because of niggas and their shit. I was in so much pain, it was too hard to get on my knees and pray to God for a release from niggas and their shit. And when I fell off that wall and had to put myself back together, it was without those niggas or their shit. And I wrote this poem for all of you who have experienced niggas and their shit.
Good art inspires good art. So there is no way that I would be able to write at the capacity that I write without being inspired by someone else, without being inspired by someone who sings, by someone who raps, by someone who does poetry. So yeah, does it heal ever? Sometimes I listen to poems and I swear they're speaking directly to me. I went through this whole period. I don't know if I was being paranoid or what. I was like, oh my God, they're talking about me. They're talking about me. But I think that's awesome that people think that way, because then obviously what you're saying is affecting them.
Poets tend to reflect on things, I think, more deeply and more seriously than the general public. Poets have a way of, a lot of people like to call it a third eye, of looking into things that most people wouldn't look into. You know, poets think a lot. Most people just go about life thoughtless. You know, and I think poets tend to dwell more on feelings and emotions and just life. You know, not that other people don't. I think poets just tend to, because they're deep thinkers, I think they get into it just a little more than the average person.
Poetry is nothing but a way to tell the truth. And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's accessible to everybody. I don't think that poets are any different or any more special or weird than anybody else. I think that we represent something that everybody else sees. I mean, people have this image of poets thinking that, oh, we all wear black and we all snap and we wear the sunglasses and the berets, and they think that we're just these people that just nobody can get close to because we're just so into ourselves, but that's not the case. Right. You know, we have jobs, we have lives, we have relationships just like everybody else. And so all we're doing is we're taking our stories and just telling them in a different way. I mean, and that's why people come out to poetry readings, because they connect with what they hear. It's not just something they come to because they think it's cool, or they think, you know, I want to be important and I want to be intelligent. No, they come because we're telling the stories that they want to hear, and the stories that a lot of them have actually lived through. Right.
Talk to him. Here you go.
You know, for 2 days, the ghetto streets held to her body before sending her soul to God. For 2 days, she drank and smoked and even sex with the best of them. For 2 days, passion gave way to lust, and this girl became a girl drowning in the sweet of a 35-year-old man. You see, that's just how the best parts of these 2 days would start. With one hand clutching her rose-red lipstick and the other upon her thick hips, she smacked her lips and caught the bus from Jersey to NY on that day that the sky was gray. Oh, how she wished that the sky would be blue. Because she was tired. She was tired of her mama's drama. Her mama's boyfriend's drama always touched touching her body, trying to sex her mind. She's tired of her teachers' useless lessons that seem like wasted time. She's tired of those glamour hoes with their glamour pose on their glamour shows. That's why she robbed that uptown store for their glamour pose, because this girl was going out tonight.
Hit him, Dale, hit him!
She was going to the mouth of the devil to kiss his teeth. She was gonna dance with demons that crave her flesh, thirst her skin, waiting for the end of the club for the fun to begin. There, looking for young girls with young behinds and young minds. I guess that's why she's in that cruising down Jeep upon these ghetto streets. As the music and weed soothes her soul to sleep, she's too high to care, too young to fear, and too blind to realize she's sitting next to death. As this demon rolls within his lot, parks within his spot, he begins to touch and feel, smell and taste those places he didn't want to get touched, so she slowly said, no. But now he's gripping, stripping, ripping off her clothes, she's screaming, no. But by the time his hands are upon her panties, her kicks and screams become a slow whisper that screams from her body, no, 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 no. 2 days after those ghetto streets, 2 days after her heartbeat ceased, 2 days after her trial on earth, God held to her body and told her her worth. When it steps to that mic, you know, it's kind of like that alter ego part of you takes over, you know, and that's the part of me that comes out. You know, I have to kind of replay the emotions that allowed me to write it, kind of perform those emotions out, you know. So at different phases, I'm both a poet and then a performance poet.
Fillmore been out there just as long as I had, and I just watched Fillmore. I saw Fillmore at a peak to where he'd have me like, oh man, you know, that was hot, man. That was really, really serious, bro. But then I would see him, like as time went on and I didn't see him, and then when he came back, it was just like, you could tell, you know when your people going through something, you know what I'm saying? And I just knew he was going through something. And I was always hard on Fillmore because I just Fillmore's like my son, man. I want to see him do better, you know what I'm saying? All of them kind of like my kids, except for a couple of them is a little about my age, but I just want to see him do better because I know he can.
I was born in Monrovia, Liberia, you know, and I still have family back home. And when the war recently, you know, got televised, because to say it started, it never actually ended. It always was going on. When it got televised again, I was watching this footage on the news, and there was these boys on this truck, and they had the machine guns, and they were shooting, but you couldn't really see what they were shooting at. You know, then all of a sudden, the bullets, their bodies just started shaking, you know, and one of them tried to jump out the truck, you know, but when he jumped, you could see the bullets just hitting his head. And that immediately took me back, you know, to like my cousins and other children in different countries, you know, who are forced into this situation, you know. And I related to that experience, to the experience that I live in America, you know, how we got it so good, but yet still we try to be so hardcore and so strong. That's why I said in the poem, he doesn't kill to hold down his block. He doesn't kill to sell crack rock. He kills cause the cops ran through his spot and shot his pops. He kills cause his mom's been locked. He kills that at the age of 10, they walk these streets just to find peace. Now he kills to go to sleep. Now he kills to go to sleep. He kills to wake up the next morning. Shit, he kills to eat. Now if y'all gangsters acting like pranksters think y'all can fuck with him, y'all got another thing coming. You see, you don't know death until the shock of a Beretta rises up your arm, but you don't feel nothing. You don't know pain until your boy's head is upon a stake and from his ears leaks his brain. You don't know sleep until the gunshots stop. But while y'all got your hypnotic bottles, y'all tossing, stumbling from one street to the next street over paved streets y'all crossing. You see, he's at home on his malaria-filled sheet, AIDS-filled air he breathes in deep. As he feels the soldier upon these streets, he hears the sound, he hears the feet upon the ground. As he feels the tanks, he chooses bazooka gun while holding his bazooka gun, and he sings to himself, you can win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of that game. People can say someday you're gonna change, but you're still looking the same.
Poetry, performance poetry, is an extremely male-dominated field, which I do believe is a bad thing.
I had to address this because it's being said that women don't bring it like the men. Well, whoever said we were supposed to?
A lot of women see a lot of the men on stage and feel intimidated because of it being such a male-dominated field. They feel like they won't have a voice. Even if they do get up there and read, no one's really listening.
Yo, poet, I'm really feeling it. You lying ass trick.
Which is far from the truth. You know, I've been to places where there have been 2 women on a 20 poet roster, and those 2 women got more applause and more respect than any of the other 18 men because they were the only 2 women. Most of the audience at poetry shows are women. So because of that, it would lend to the people thinking that female poets would have a much more powerful voice than the male poets. Which is one thing that, you know, I would like to see Charlotte get better at, is having more dominant women poets.
If we want anything, or if we're gonna do anything, or if we wanna be heard, we have to be forceful with it. We gotta get up and take everything, or we won't get anything.
I think if the female is good enough to keep their attention, then she can do it. And I think in certain instances that a woman can, that a female poet can outdo a male poet.
See, for so often females have been expected to act polite, real ladylike, tiptoe up to this mic and spit that shit that's tight and get the crowd real hyped and take your seat. Then let a man come up here and basically do his thing, say 2 words about sex and shit. Y'all done forgot our first name, our stage name. Half of the time y'all done forgot that we done came up at this motherfucker and said a damn thing. But me, shit, I'm somewhat different. Cause see, I got 25 years of tears and 15 years of shame. I got no other choice but to come to this motherfucker and spit flames. But y'all don't hear me. See, all my life I've been fighting for simple rights, like the right just to live. That's all the fuck I want to do is motherfucking live. Live and let live, love and let love. But every time I try to live, it's like life passed me by. And every time I try to love, it's like I love just for a short time. Then love walks out, leaving me with a broken heart and a fucked up mind. So it's around those times that I find myself caught in betwixt the lines of my notebook.
Now maybe you can explain to me why I'm doing so much motherfucking time for another female's crime. Often finding myself in gyms and hospital lines, removing from what God has given me and called beautiful to make it to what you niggas would call a dime. So I apologize to you if I can't join in your sad song and dance. But your definition of a player to me is a definition of a sorry-ass man.
Pushing a pen that I just took from my teller. 1s, 5s, no 20s, please. The last time you gave me a 20, I found myself on my knees on a sidewalk. Stripped of my right to talk, because everything that I say at this point can be held against me. Shackled at my hands and feet, told when to sleep, what food to eat, and I ain't never did a day in jail. This is what my family done did to me.
But I won't. And I promise you I won't I won't trip when you go to acting insensitive. You have my word, I won't say shit. Just know the same thing that made you a player, it made most of us this bitch.
See, I've been smashed through closed doors while called trifling ass whores while being beat down to the floor while screaming back, Daddy, please don't hit me no more. See, I done danced a nasty dance at the wicked hands of men. I done fell asleep and had sex with dragons. So it's no other's definite when I open my mouth, I'm gonna bring heat.
Pimp, shorty, pimp. Cause shorty's got this complex occupation. See, I'm so tired, nigga, tired of always having to cry, nigga, cry. Keeping this warm rag over my eyes because I got to recover from your latest lies. So I think it's about time that I speak on what's going on in the inside. You see, my heart can't take no more lies and my eyes are all out of cry. So in other words, get your shit and goodbye, nigga, bye.
Hate if you want, go ahead and label me an MC. But do me one more favor, call DMX and my man Jay-Z and ask them to make a little room in that spotlight for me, and I'm sure to go down something like this.
Yo, poet, every time your name was brought up, I would act all nonchalant in front of an audience. Or maybe it'd be something like, Poet, the rough rider. Poet, the rough rider. Cause I'ma ride the rest of this poetry ride until the wheels fall off. And I ain't trying to battle nobody, I'm just letting my steam off. And I'm sorry I can't be more essential, but niggas, I ain't soft. And I promised myself a long time ago that never again will I ever wipe my eyes with a tear-stained cloth. So watch what you say, cause your words gon' cost. Cause this what you see right now, my man, shit, this me being soft.
The whole idea of women don't bring it as, you know, as much heat as the men, that's a complete bullshit, you know? Cause women bring it just as hot, you know, consistently. You know, they may not have the kind of volume that the men have, because a lot of times what we're talking about is not the power of the words, we're talking about the volume, you know? They may not have the volume that the men have, but the substance and the conviction within their words are just as powerful as the men. At times even more.
So my name is Queen Sheba. I am from Norfolk, Virginia. I travel here because Terry is a wonderful, wonderful host every time I come to Charlotte and keeps me really, really busy. I do have 2 albums. I actually have 3. I carry them both with me, so if you can, please do support. And I've been doing this full time a little over 2 years. You see I'm stalling trying to get my earrings back in, right? But being a full-time artist is sometimes difficult, sometimes very, very rewarding. It is not a game. I take cash checks and credit cards, just so y'all know, for real. No, I have most of them over there. Thank you. And then a couple outside for display, so please do come see me. Say word. Little brown girls trace circles in gray misty mirrors to cover the image that flinches because her vision is conditioned by the system. Painting red lips under green eyes, so when the first guy pays her a little attention, she pays him a little pussy. Not realizing we're raping the way we're living if we allow outside influences to persuade decisions made on our physical condition. Flipping through the latest issue looking for an image to transition into because someone that lacked confidence in their individualism told her eccentric wasn't beautiful. The anorexic sister in the magazine is the role model for how she wants to be seen because no one told her superficial is temporary. No one told her morning reflection she's carved from the beautiful red clays of Georgia, molded by the yellow-orange rays of the sun. Bodies been naturally like the Mississippi River, kept fresh and moist by the tropical rains of the Amazon, bearing fresh and ripe fruit to the earth, but neglect has left her to spoil. Rot in the droughts of Tennessee, standing in the bathrooms of broken homes, hoping to attract the reactions of men with blushing foundations, when Mac is making Africans careless. Like the deserts of the Sahara, makeup cracks midday, leaving her self-esteem shattered on playgrounds, in nightclubs, and smeared on pillowcases of strangers she's known for years. Young brown women trace circles in gray misty mirrors, putting fingers down our throats and purposely miss meals. We're tearing up our insides to try to fit in on the outside when fitting into parasucos doesn't make you invincible, it makes you vulnerable. Relying on someone else's validation to make your life worth living when the best love is self-love. When we relax and become comfortable, the spirit that metamorphosizes inside, your glow will be compared to sunshine. So many times we ignore the quiet voices in our head to pass compliments to strangers we don't even know. But what we don't even know is you may have been the first one to tell them, sister, you're beautiful. Or your eyes sparkle, or sister, you're fine, because you never know if you've seen them for the first or the last time. We tend to pull back every time someone smiles or tries to make eye contact, afraid to let people read where our confidence lacks. Elderly brown women trace circles in gray misty mirrors, covering their grays with dyes, using creams and lotion to try to smooth out lines, erasing traces of wisdom, pinching, tucking, and lifting parts that have hung low of experience because no one told them their breasts now hold milk that replenish the earth in their eternal rest. Hips widen to make resting places for grandchildren, listening to stories of the Angola 3 and the midnight summers in a porch swing. No one told them the real gift is losing physical sight to protect your souls from witnessing the tragedies women fighting for liberation will suffer in this life. Tonight, women of all shades will trace circles in gray misty mirrors, comfortable with being natural, because I was told we have nothing to make up for. Thank you.
for a long time, poetry around here was just, it was select groups, seeing each other all the time, reading with each other all the time, never really taking it to another level. And once Liquid Lounge got started and JC was really doing some great things with that, and then he took it to the radio and started doing his own shows, took it out of the hands of the business people and put it in the hands of the poets. I think that really gave the poets a strong, powerful voice in the city.
Can we get back to the basics of soul-felt lovemaking when the physical and mental united and created love unsurpassed? To new memories of odes to me in poetry, writing your place in my soul in the present and not just history. Back to the basics of rose petals sprinkled beneath my feet to cushion the innocence of my step you said is angelic and sweet. Back to the basics of public scenes of affection with your protection hidden inside of me while they see we but not thee tickling my fancy secretly. Back to the basics of love worth dying for, love worth living for, the love worth striving for. Basically the basics of equal sacrifices and all the essentials. Back to the basics of looks and glances with puppy dog eyes, chills from soft touches that made me sigh, love that's so good, me and my body cry. You know that kind of love that can never be denied. Can we get back to the basics when you don't try to love, you just do it?
I captured Ebola virus, then mixed it in with the ink from my pen, and for the poetry title, me and God was battling. Shaclack, clack.
Take cover if you can't handle a fully loaded mind. Switch to automatic with my poetic cavalry coming up from behind, pulling daily maintenance on my pen so I prepare for the battles ahead. See, our click stay more effective than a terrorist attack because, see, spoken word threat stays on red. Shaclack, clack.
Shaclack, clack. This is a poetic jack move. Ignorant people come off your thoughts. When I'm clutching this pen in my hand, I got 6 million ways to murder. Choose one, and whichever one you choose, guaranteed I can write you off. I am a street poet, cause I learned to flip my tongue on street blocks. I am not a poet cause I rock locks. I'm a poet cause my thoughts are so twisted that it leaked into my hair till my hair got twisted and locked.
Right there.
What's up, y'all? You know how we gotta do it like this, huh? One time. Yeah. It's you, baby. Good to see y'all. What's up, people? Boy, don't you? Hug me like you mean. You got to hug me like me. Yeah, that's how I do it. You Big Tone, what's happening with you, baby? You know, I gotta shake the start. Big time. I got to be some of that. Got to get some of that. They criticizing me for doing poetry to get paid, but yet they steady crying broke. I guess they sitting back trying to figure out what I'm doing with all these folks, but see, they say I'm always trying to run things, but yet they continue to be unorganized, and then when I get booked for the paid events, they be looking like they all surprised, but I still do plenty of things for free. That's the only way the foundation can get laid, and had it not been for all the sacrifices, how you think I'd expect to get paid? Folks trying to shoot me down because I formed a circle of support, trying to earn an honest living instead of standing before the court. See, they trying to tarnish my name by saying I proclaim to be so great. But yet they say where there's love, there's hate. Now, I don't claim to be nothing except a mere mortal man, and anybody who believes in themselves can do anything that I can. And I believe in poetry because, see, poetry lives inside of me, and I can care less what hating folks think about JC because, see, if it really mattered, I would have quit this thing a long time ago. When we had to wait all month for one open mic show, when cats was getting discouraged because they wasn't making no dough. See, I don't see you throwing no shows. I don't see you on the grind all the time. I don't see you networking with different folks paying poets out your pocket for their time. But you still talking junk and ain't made a dime. Just giving away your time. See, you watching Def Poetry wishing you was the one on stage. You going to open mics reading page after page after page, and you want to know why I got staying power? Because you might want to check the age. Criticizing me for trying to set a pace. You talking junk behind my back, but steady all up in my face. But see, if I really cared about anything that everybody said, I'd have never got ahead. Hating on what I'm doing, but can you step up and grab the reins? Can you endure the stress from all these poets' pain? You mad because you think folks is following behind JC? Nah, cuz. That shows your ignorance, because see, my folks is walking right beside me. Am I supposed to apologize for unifying my friends? Are you going to put some food in our mouths when we come up short on our ends? I ain't nobody's leader. We doing this thing together. Something that black folks seem to been missing out on forever, but see, that's why we steady falling behind. Folks want to run their mouths instead of getting together and using their minds, because I can care less whether you with me or not. Oh, by the way, how many book shows you got? Ooh. How many promoters calling you saying, yo, that joint was hot?
Plugging dates and shows for you to do? Are anybody paying you? Nah, so let me let you know that my dedication to this thing ain't up for debating. So see, I'ma continue grinding because see, I build off folks hating, spreading gossip all around town. You might wanna get in where you fit in before I lock the QC down. Cause it's true. JC loved the haters too. Peace.
Though his poetry does not expand the universe, he does not talk about going to this place and that place, but nonetheless, his poems are like an arrow. You know, it hits you right on, right here, where you have no other choice, you know, but to relate to it.
Unhappy is the last thing that I want you to be, cause see, if that's the case, baby, I'll let you go free, cause see, my heart ain't been wrong too many times before, and for some reason, seems like it's saying she don't want you no more.
JC, he has a way of just commanding attention from the audience. And he has this way of talking to people on a level that's not over their head, but at the same time, he glorifies points that need to be said. Not to be a poet, but that just need to be said.
You can't lock nobody down if they don't want to be around. Can't put no smiles on their face if they just choose to frown. And ain't no teaching their ass how to dress if they ain't got a clue. In all reality, that's gonna end up hating you.
He really puts life on paper. I mean, no matter what subject he's talking about, it's so true, you know, and he breaks it down for you in a way, I mean, anybody can understand it. You know, you never have to pause and really try to understand or figure out what he's saying because he's cut and dry. You know, this is his issue, this is what he's saying, and you just get it. And it's true, and I think I haven't heard a poem that JC has done that I could not relate to.
See, they try to give them keys and all that tag along stuff. And then 2 weeks later, they be calling talking about, motherfucker, bring me my key, cause you ain't using it enough. But see, they all good girls too, but they can't keep up. Damn. See, but they forgot about what them old folks say, man, what goes around comes around. See, but they take the keys, the clothes, the jewelry, and much, much more. See, it take 20 minutes to get in somebody's crib because they don't know what key go to what door.
Maze both has the kind of conviction with stage performance. Right there, that fine line that everybody tries to hit on every time, he hits on it every time. You know, I don't even got that. Sometimes I be a lot of performance but not saying shit. Sometimes I say a lot of things, but people ain't feeling me because my performance ain't there. But he hits it every time.
Maze forever. I just gotta say it like this. Maze, what's the word I'm looking for? His maturity level when he actually gets where he's going. I'm kind of scared of what's gonna happen with him because Maze is so good and he knows he's good. But he doesn't tell us. He knows he's good, but he don't tell himself he's good. So when he kills me because he's kind of humble when people tell him how good he is. He's like, really? Oh man, you like that? But don't get me wrong. There's a certain arrogance about Maze that you know. He knows he's good.
I just wanna smell your organic funk. I wanna sip the nectar that could only come from your bush. I wanna run my tongue across my mustache and be able to taste you hours later and be sexually shook. First, I wanna tongue undress you, only to then tongue caress you, only to then tongue molest you until it's nothing less. Your pent-up sexual frustrations transgress into what can be explained at best as my tongue drowning, needing to be rescued, but don't you dare throw me a life preserver, 'cause I just want to taste your organic funk. Dreams of waking up out of my slumber getting fed. Waking up to feel your thighs hugging my ears and the sides of my head. Your pearl tongue on my tongue on your pearl tongue, my tongue probing and violating. Your hips rolling and gyrating, moaning as you're rocking my head. My head
In sync with your hip movements, thrusting violently, knocking our bed until multiple orgasmic climatic juices start skeeting and squirting, trickling down the sides of my chin, infusing itself with the hairs on my head. I just want to bathe in your organic funk. Spatter raw and spoil the child, so I'm dying to spank your childish ass with this rod of correction while you're dying to take center stage and get buck naked on this mic of affection, this mic of erection, this mic of confession. You wanna put it on me so you can read my fuck faces and translate my sexual pantomimes and expressions, but I'ma make you wait. Lift you off my face, switch up positions to a 68. Don't you dare touch that snake, you can owe me one later. I spread cheeks and unfold folds. Unfold folds to the folds, expose both holes, rhythmically sliding my tongue back and forth between both holes. See, I majored in sexual exploration. You moan maze, you freaky motherfucker, as I grab you by your hips and slide you back into a tongue that slivers through your pucker. You would know without a doubt that I minored in sexual exploitation and school's in. So by the time your loosely flapping pages meet my pen, the 4 shots of Hennessy, 2 pills of X, and half a pill of Viagra then kicked in. 2.5 hours later, too many nuts to account for, both too tired to mount each other once more, too many sheets to pull off the mattress, cause even the mattress is soiled, both too tired, taking too long to get dressed, 2 a.m. in the morning, ordering 2 Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity IHOP breakfasts, and we both way too tired, so waiter, can we get that order to go? She didn't die, say nothing, just kept shooting me looks. Y'all know those looks where their eyes keep running off at the mouth and their stars keep asking for something. So I massaged my short jaws and I told her, damn, I just love me some organic funk.
It's the whole hippie, make love, not war revolution all over again. So they're coming out because they want to hear something more than that same old shoot 'em up bang bang that they see on, on the TV. Truly, look and you shall find. But sometimes I find that it's hard to define in the midst of every confusion lies certain truths, unwanted truths we pay no mind. So run, nigga, run. Ignorance is bliss, so fuck understand. Trapped between that rock and the hard place, hardships make hard men, and them stagnant mental means won't justify those tangible ends. So gun, nigga, gun. Hoping fire, let the Lord pick the first to bleed. Step back and look at our grim situations that's going nowhere fast because of the fast food from which we allowed our minds and souls to fastly feed. Got us incarcerated behind bars that we just cannot see. See, they come embedded in our bad lines of credit. So at the pump, we pump 87 regular unleaded into our big body SUVs. Ironically, the cheapest gas and the most expensive rides, sitting low, AC blowing snow on 22s or Twinkies. Not caring that in 20 years that Social Security may not be guaranteed. In our youth, we spent money frivolously on clothes and shine that blind in them SUVs until our third eye catches time and we're no longer out blind. But shit, too late. Bank accounts hold no fucking cheese. Don't own our own houses, our own businesses, no mutual funds, IRAs, or annuities. Left with one foot in the grave, another foot skating on thin ice with a heavy ass ski. But see, I'ma worry about that shit later, cause right now I'm young, nigga, young. Often classified as dumb, nigga, dumb. Old school terminology suggests young, dumb, and full of cum. Mission 1, rack up as much ass. Mission 2, blow as much grass. Mission 3, live life fast, cause life is only as good as it lasts. If I get trapped between that rock and a hard place, there's always mom or dad. And if situations get bleak, too bleak, I can blink and turn ag and gun, nigga, gun. Hoping fire, let the Lord pick the first to bleed. Product of my environment, victim of my society. This is what our situational reality breeds. The legacy of our dreams have no leg to stand on, let alone a lung to breathe. Truly, look and you shall find. But sometimes I find that it's hard to define. In the midst of every confusion lies certain truths, unwanted truths we pay no mind. So, girl, my pretty face and smile is gonna take me places. Good men are hard to find, and I just want one to treat me right, but I ain't fucking with no nigga unless it's wild as packing them big faces. Ignorance is bliss, so fuck understand.
Breast firmly sitting stacked, stomach flat, ass toned and fat. Got good conversation, plus I can cook. That's why it's a matter of fact that I'm gonna always be taken care of by some man. Hell, push come to shove, I can work at the strip club and shake my fan. All men are dogs, they only think with their dick, so that head gon' always call for moolah, dough, bread, and ends. Hell, I'ma shake what my mama gave me. So, ho, nigga, ho. I'ma use what I got to get what I want. Only young for so long, so why not work my jelly shake, taunt, and flaunt? This pussy's too good to give away for free, so the less the motherfucker can do is pay for my rent, card, note, and utilities. So, pimp, nigga, pimp. Truth is, one day your ass gonna wanna settle down, have a husband and a home, but who's to say that one day that man's gonna finally open up his eyes and realize that your only real gift for prize, it only lies between your thighs, and ignorance was once bliss, but now you understand that it takes more than sex to keep a man, so now you hurt, nigga, hurt. In your youth, instead of spending time on self, all you could do was flirt, nigga, flirt. Character now lacking character, so not only men you can get is those two pump chumps who care less about your mind but care more about your rump, which by that time isn't quite as round and plump, and breasts no longer sit stacked, they sort of sag and slump, and that once flat stomach is now more like a flabby stump, so now your ass is forced to better yourself. Cause you're a product of your environment, victim of your society. This is what our situational reality breeds. The legacy of our dreams had no leg to stand on, y'all, let alone a lung to breathe.
The Blazers are JC, Maze, Blues, The Wanderer, Carmen, you know, and Poet. Those are the Blazers. But on any given night, and that's the thing about it, on any given night, somebody can bring it. You know, it's like you may be a observer that comes in for the first time. You never seen none of these poets before. And you're like, okay, that guy's nice. That guy's nice. But one night, Tim, you know, white boy Tim might just come up with a poem that just blazes and everybody be like, oh!
Sometimes
This is a poetic jack move. Step the fuck up off the mic. I don't speak smooth words to get poetic pussy. Because getting pussy is easy. Finding a woman who's ready to grow, that, you know, is difficult. Some of you here might be thinking, I bet that white boy would wear me out. And that is true. If you got no diseases in about 6 hours to spare, I'll slip it in and split you open. But I doubt if you're willing to walk down the street with me the next day and bear the weight of all the hot bullshit that our so-called families are gonna whisper about how we ain't staying with our kind, even if our kind ain't got shit to do with skin color. I don't speak my mind on this mic to lay claim to some playground bragging rights. I don't come up here looking for poetic fights and get pissed off when somebody else's poetic light shines brighter than mine. Run around crying about shit that I don't understand and don't want to understand. It doesn't matter if my rhymes are tight or if my tongue moves so fast it might start smoking and light up. Because if what I'm saying don't mean shit, then what I'm saying don't mean shit. I don't give a damn about marking the post on a poetic pissing ground or establishing myself in the poetic hierarchy. I was just born curious and I haven't yet killed that cat. Growing is hard, but it suits me. So when I come up here, I'm not playing or ball grabbing. I'm not trying to be your token white boy or a poetic novelty. I'm just up here growing. I'm just being me. I have taken the sacrament in meek obeisance and awesome humility before Coptic monks. I have walked the eightfold way. I have fasted, prayed, contemplated nothingness until a lotus flower sprang from my forehead. How very zenful. But I have also eaten the fruit that Eve handed to Adam. I have become the mother mantis who eats her mate after she realizes that his utility has transmutated from an offering of new life to just simply an offering. I stole the fire with Proteus, and these are the seeds I've sown, because I ate of the tree that Eve offered to Adam. And the only way for me to show you how it is that I arrived at this tentative conclusion is to bite this apple and offer it to you.
I talked to a professor once, and he said that when his students bring him poetry and they say that it was inspired by God, he's like, well, I won't read it. I won't critique it because how am I
interfere with God's word?
Yeah, who am I to argue with God? So So when I write, I thank God for the gift of being able to
Exactly.
write, but I'm not trying to save anybody's life. I'm out there because this is what I've been through. And I'm thinking, okay, either you connect with it or you don't, but at least I'm offering it, you know, and I can't control what anybody's gonna take away from it.
I love what they do together when they do their group pieces. And I don't know if they're dating or not, because I don't like to get in folks' business like that.
Y'all are such a cute
Y'all are such a, and we're like, oh, we are so not a couple.
There's love when they hit the stage, man. It's like a chemistry through their poetry. And even if she does it alone, he's on the side, and it's like there's a connector running straight through the middle, right over to him while she's reading. And to see him and her feel, no matter what she does, he feels it, whatever she does, whatever he does, she feels it. So it's just like, they got this vibe going, and it's beautiful, because I just like, it's them type of people you like to be around and just chill and talk to, because you just get them good oars off of them.
He's so in rhythm with life, wrapped eucalyptus, jasmine stain, raisin, cucumber melon babies, plantation rebel children, sunflower seed, brown sugar baby. Too nappy to be called licorice, my man's full and beautiful. Slides down watercolored bullshit. It ain't in his amber silvered whispers. Only orange liquor notices honeycomb. No hot comb could ever pull his libido straight as lavender. I see him dancing. Sambo, staccato, mango, alco, tea tree, kiwi, crazy lately. Lemon as willow, blow your baby's breath wide now. Bend at your roots. Nairobi linen lined the lemongrass rooted him narrow. An amethyst priest. He comes in here to be crafted masculine in cotton and chamomile. He's orgasmically contagious. I'm spiritually infectious. I gain nourishment from his hands, and he watches the world through my eyes. I believe in him like astrology. He studies me like trigonometry. We make our own equations. Multiplying love times love. He subtracts all doubt. I'm the inverse to his square relations, and I just want to measure up and be his answer in scientific notation.
Exodus is the only cat I've ever seen, I mean, that could actually, if he likes your poetry, he will remember your poetry word for word. And he'll tell you when you messed up. He'll tell you about your part. And the girl that rolls with him, Nikki, I don't want to mess her name up, but he can sit there when she's on stage, he recites her poetry while she's reading her poetry, and still manages to do his. And his feeling that he puts into it, it's almost like if he starts crying, I'm gonna start crying. It's just that he's that type of power, man. And I love his poetry because he just keeps it real, and I know that he's real. He loves what he does, and it's no question in his face, in his actions, that he just loves what he does. And as far as a poet, he's just phenomenal to me. I think he's a great poet.
My grandfather, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and I never really thought about it because he was diagnosed when I left for college, and then I went home one time and had to take him to the doctor's office, and that's when it hit me that he has this, this is his life, and he doesn't even realize what's going on with him. And so I had a poem that I had written and said I was never going to share with anybody because I just didn't think it was the kind of thing that anybody else would want to hear. But the act of sharing that piece has really helped me to come to terms with it and to deal with it and start the healing process.
I opened the door and let Grandpa walk first into this dreaded den of matted green carpet, mothballs, and sanitary scents, the hum of an ineffective heater. The doctor's office. This is where people go to place bets on death. Old men and women are sitting on hard benches waiting for their tickets to get pulled or punched. Orthopedic shoes abound and green coats, everything in 6 shades. Everywhere I look, I see drug posters advertising Viagra, Vigor, and purple pills to slide us down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. I marvel at the poetry of prescription drugs. The nurse roughly escorts my grandfather from my side into an examination room to measure his vital signs. He's been robbed of his memory by Alzheimer's. He can't remember what I looked like before I had locks. I can't remember what his scoldings used to sound like. Alzheimer's is a thorough thief indeed. Steals from victims and loved ones. Picks the pockets of innocent brains only to waste the takings. An old woman with artificial yellow skin also waits to place her wager. "Our memories ain't what they used to be," I heard her say. Extra strength, big gay, and yarn crochets have now become her yesterday. I wonder if she misses the pain of virginity or the joy of childbirth while waiting for Dr. Bookie in this sick green space. The nurse brings my grandfather back to sit next to me. I remember the poetry's best written alone, but he doesn't know who I am anymore. Snippets of conversation feed my fear. You see everybody you know in the doctor's office, don't you? Oh yeah, especially when you get our age. This clinic has become their social club. Early morning dances with cold steel instruments and young southern women with no bedside manner, but there's no balance here. There's no comfort. Hope is hiding in badly painted corners of the room and pieces of molding chipped by walkers, wheelchairs, and canes. Even the twist of the plants looks retroviral, sick like the green of the walls, floors, the chairs, the pots, the bags, the smells. The room smells sick, green. Wow, Grandpa just sits, barely there. This man that brought me science fiction and fed my comic book addiction. This man that taught me how to read a map and chart my own course in life. This man that loves his wife with all his heart but cannot remember his wedding day or his children's names. Sits there, staring at the thick green walls, enjoying happy hour in the waiting room and memories that slough like skin. No way to file this moment for future reference. No way to wonder how the walls might look with a fresh coat. No way to know anything except that he's here, the wall is green, and he's hungry for a McDonald's sausage biscuit. Is this what I have to look forward to? Will each new birthday bring another candle in my cake or another nail in my coffin? I'm so stressed about my end I can't begin to enjoy my meantime. Ring around the Rorschach, a pocket full of Prozac. Ashes to ashes, we all fall. Down in the corner, I noticed a young toddler girl playing with Lysol soaked building blocks while her mother reads her Winnie the Pooh. The yellow woman asks her when her birthday is. She remembers. Grandpa still sits in sick, green silence.
Carmen, that's my ace in the hole. Carmen's a beast. She's coming up. And Carmen got people, they don't know which way she's coming. She comes with different poems every time.
Every morning I woke up blessed, ready to raise my fist for the Black Revolution. But when I opened my mouth to spit pieces to get their minds spin, it didn't have a Neptune's beat to it, then shit. They weren't trying to hear it. When I spit knowledge to uplift, if I wasn't represented and bling like those rappers on the videos be blinging in, they weren't trying to be uplifted. So I began to see myself as that atheist that was no different than the boys on the block slinging powder and cook rocks and blazing blocks.
Carmen is gonna be phenomenal because Carmen's one of the realest chicks I know, man. I mean, when it comes to just being straight up with you, real with you, you're gonna get it raw, and that's just how it is. And she ain't walking away with no regrets.
She wore brains in a skirt, so she couldn't get upset when niggas fuck with her mind. They always fuck with her mind, secreting empty promises of always being there, stroking, whispers, and sometimes loud screams of, "I care!" But after meaningless conversations, she still felt empty. She was tired of leaving her footprints on the ceiling, concealing feelings. She wanted to be uplifted, but was only lifted to different positions. She wanted her position to be heard, but her words were consuming less of her, while her pain was consuming more of her. Until her doesn't have a name anymore, she's just called Ho. She can't even settle down because she's that doorknob that every grimy cat to an old boy from around the way is turned. Her heart has long been burned that she can't even recognize love anymore. That get a man quick cause my pussy is the shit has so many times been split that she doesn't even care anymore. She can't even face her reflection in the mirror anymore. Her soul has become so concrete that even the purity of white doves couldn't make it soar. So now any man that gives her half a chance, she's on her back because her self-respect doesn't have much to hope for. So now she walks around with her revealing clothes and made up face that can't erase that she's just a woman that's been used and abused by men that fucked her, she thought she loved, but they replied, "Fuck you." She wore brains in her skirt, so she couldn't get mad when niggas fuck with her mind.
Terry, to me, was one of the first cats I met and was working and was like, man, I'm just gonna go for it, man. I'm out. I'm going poetry. I'm gonna survive off this. I've never been that close to anybody who actually said, I'm out. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna get on the road. I'm gonna start traveling, slamming, whatever. This ain't good enough for me. And he was gone. And for his dedication to the poetry and what he's trying to do now with the poets that we've all encountered and been around, him starting the slams and stuff, man. As a poet, I think he's damn good. Definitely, I think he's a damn good poet, you know, because I know his dedication to it is real.
The way he takes poetry to its essence and uses words and imagery to draw you in, and you're sitting in whatever he paints, you're inside of this painting.
You see, I got this idea that I want poetry to be commercial. I want to turn on my television on Sunday afternoons and watch a hard-fought sports contest showcasing the Washington Wordsmiths versus the Seattle Scribes. They'll face off against each other on fields of natural grass and spit lines at the opposition trying to advance for the score, and in between will be commercial for Nike with the slogan being just right. Or Gatorade asking is poetry in you. Or Slitsmont Liquor having a brick wall being busted through by Maya Angelou. And then a quick set of Billy D. Williams saying, nobody beats the poet. And Burger King had to change the name to Poetry King. And Home Depot will be Poem Depot. And Budweiser will be Speakwiser. And McDonald's had to change its sign to read over 30 million people read to. I want poetry to rule the planet. I want Gil Scott Heron to write State of Union addresses for a different president. And I want National Public Radio to become National Poetic Radio, so it'll be even more interesting to listen to. And I want countries to speak their dialects and rhymes, and I want countries to wear long sleeve frilly shirts, and I want countries to be more creative, and I want countries to be more free, and I want countries to be more like poetry. I want wars to be replaced by slams between the president and vice president of the differing nations. They can do group pieces with their militaries and be scored on the number of lives saved. I want poetry to rule the airwaves. Stay with me now. So instead they decided they wanted to use a black woman. They wanted us to have a baby together named her Sacagawea Johnson. She would have long hair, high cheekbones, and reddish brown skin, and when people ask her where she got her good hair from, she could truthfully say, I got some Indian in my family. They wanted me to volunteer for the experiment, but I told them no. They wanted me to donate my sperm, but I told them no. They asked me why I wouldn't do the simple thing to counteract the thousands being killed and keep my race from becoming endangered, and I told them that their way wasn't the answer. I told them, don't worry about my people. We can heal ourselves. We've been doing it for thousands of years through sweat lodges and peace pipes. We've been doing it for thousands of years through herbal healing and praying to the Great Spirit. We've been doing it for thousands of years of mutual respect and sacred kinship. And I would love to show you how we do these things so you can learn something and possibly heal yourselves. But I can't because it's an Indian thing and y'all just wouldn't understand. I want MTV to become PTV. And show nothing but 24 hours of videos of poets being surrounded by millions of screaming fans and flashing lights. And Puffy will speak in couplets. And NSYNC will finally say something worth listening to. And Outkast will be considered geniuses. And Britney will be considered a fool. And Destiny's Child will be considered puppets. And Carson Daly will list the top 10 poems of the day. And young girls will scream for them. I want poetry to be loved by everyone. Because I want everyone to live poetry.
People can relate to you when you can admit your guilt and when you can admit your problems. People are more receptive to you because it lets them know that you're human, that you're not just this guy out here that's on this great pedestal that everybody just loves and your life is just superb. You have no worries in the world. But you know, when you let people know that you're really right where they are, you're common ground and you all have a connection, people embrace you because you're one of them.
Poetry was there when I didn't know what else to do. Poetry was right there. When I have an idea, I can write it and it turns into a poem. It turns into a best friend, you know, because you can tell poetry anything and it won't get mad at you. It'll just be like, that's what it is.
They've found a way to express themselves, to either take them off the street for 5 seconds or for 5 minutes or for 5 hours, or they found another outlet to be able to express themselves through nonviolence. And I think that's one of the best things that poetry has given, you know, especially the Black community, to say, hey, for this 2-3 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever their poetry set is, come inside, let's talk about these issues, and maybe you'll find an attachment to someone or to someone's work that will suggest an answer for you.
And I will rise tomorrow. We may not meet again, but I will rise tomorrow. Sunlight shines across my skin. And I will rise tomorrow. We may not meet again. But I will rise tomorrow, 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 and I will rise tomorrow.
I hope people get a love for poetry. I hope people fall in love with words, with metaphors, with phrases, with sentences, with life experiences, and with their own spirit by what they hear.
Hey girl, you got a long one, right?
Yeah, like it's a subway system in Charlotte. Like took the D train from Bates Ford and then ran up.
Call me.